back cause I'm coming through with my whole team, they coming too, that's ballin', ballin'. I came from nothing to something like it's nothing, yeah, you know I done it, that is no discussion, bitch, I'm ballin'.
What's up YouTube, gonna be doing another video. This time I'm gonna be installing my gauge since everyone's been waiting for that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you step by step how to install it. Alright, so first thing, I gotta move my car to my driveway because my driveway is empty, so I'm gonna do that first. Okay, so first thing we gotta do is we gotta take out the two radiator hoses. So we gotta take out the upper and lower radiator hose. Once we do that, we can then install our silicone hoses with the outlet or inlet outlet, whatever you want to call it, the housing with the temperature sensor on top. Once we get that in, then we can start wiring everything up. Alright, so I'm going to take out the front bumper. It's a 10mm bolt. It's a 10mm bolt on the right hand side, which is here, and on this side too. I'm going to take it out. It's easier for me to take it out and then drain out my radiator or antifreeze or coolant, whatever you want to call it, on either the left hand or right hand side. So that makes it more easier for me to access to go under the car, and it saves me time because I don't have to jack up my car. Alright, so I took out the front bumper. It's just for me, it's easier to access to go under the car. But yeah, front bumper's gone. Now we're gonna go under. And there's a plug which is under on this left hand side. So what you do is you get to the pan, then you want to twist it towards the left, because lefty loosey. So twist that. I say you go slowly because it's gonna spill out a lot if you just take it off. So go slower, and that's pretty much it. And just let the car, spill out the antifreeze. Alright, next up you gotta take off those clamps. There's a clamp on the bottom. And let me go up to the top, show you where the other one's at. There's another one. So this is the top radiator hose, so I gotta unclamp this one, and then if you go all the way inside where the intake's at, I have to clamp it from the inside, and the bottom one will be right next to the power steering pulley, which will be right here. Like I mentioned, I took out the clamp from the top radiator hose, and there's the other one, so this will be the other clamp for the top radiator hose. Took that out. I had to take out the intake. I had to take out 2 vacuum lines, took those out, and it makes it more easier for me to unbolt the top and bottom radiator hose. Alright, so the bottom radiator hose was connected to that outlet. Remember that outlet that I replaced? Well, that's where the bottom radiator hose connects to. Now we got both out, so we have our bottom radiator hose, which is this one right here, and then we got our top one that's right here. So we're gonna switch them out with the new silicone hoses. So this would be the bottom radiator hose, and this one's gonna be the top radiator hose. Alright, so I had to cut a couple of, a little bit of piece of hoses for each side, but they fit flush. So you got the, G Plus logo, and then you got the housing. This is where the temperature sensor is gonna go on top. Clamp that bad boy down, and then I clamp the bottom radiator hose too, all the way to the bottom. Right here, it says G Plus. Yeah, all I have to do is just put everything back, and then we should be good to go. I had to modify the silicone hoses, but it wasn't a pain to fit it properly. But yeah, we got the top one ready to go. Top one's clamped to the outlet. Bottom one is also clamped to the outlet as well. So it's right here. It's clamped. Bottom one goes all the way to the bottom of the radiator hose, which is gonna be right here. So other than that, yeah, everything's good. I just have to put the fan shroud, put my bumper back on, put the intake on, and we should be getting into the wiring process. Fan shroud in, couplers back in. Alright guys, so when you guys put your temp sensor on, make sure you guys use gasket maker or Teflon tape, but just to be safe, just use gasket maker. That's what I used. It's high resistant, and it's gonna give you a nice seal, so you won't have any problems in the future. Alright, so the way to install it, this is how it's gonna look. So you know, that's where the gauge is gonna sit. You have to take out the air conditioning vent. I took mine out because mine was already fragile and broken, so I was like, you know what, take it out, don't need it anymore. But the way we're gonna install it is we're gonna take out the radio. We're actually gonna find the power and ground for the LED lights. Reason being is because the LED light has a fuse, which is right here, so just in case the gauge if there's a short on the gauge, it will blow the LED lights fuse instead of messing or something happening to the gauge that won't make it turn on. All right, so ground cable is the black one, and then power is the red one. So I just, you know, hook both of them up. This green one goes directly to the temperature sensor, so it gives you the temperature sensor heats up, and then it displays on the gauge or how hot the car gets. But let's make sure that the gauge turns on first. So we're gonna turn on the car, and the gauge does turn on. So it's reading 104 even though we don't have the car running, but in the directions it says that when you first test it, it has to say 104. So if it says a different number, then there's something wrong with the gauge. But 104 is the correct number to make sure that the gauge is working. All right, put everything back. This faceplate is actually pretty good. The people who made it, they actually did a pretty good job. You know, it's like super snugged in, like it's not gonna go anywhere. Next up, it's to turn on the car, see if the temp gauge reads 104. If it reads 104, then we're doing it correctly. Once it reads 104, then we can put everything back, put antifreeze inside, start the car, and then we can see the temp gauge either rise up for operating temperatures, and when we turn on off the car, it should be cooling down. So let's see if it turns on. Sweet, so it's reading 104. Now all I have to do is put new antifreeze inside and make sure there's no leaks when we start the car, and we should be good to go. All right, put new antifreeze inside. I connected a vacuum line, so now the good thing is we get to start it and see if the temperature gauge works. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna be mad, but let's see if it works. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Here we go. Lights on. Oh shit. Here we go. As far as reading 104. Give it a little 104 still, so still working. Alright, so I figured out why, you know, it wasn't going, the temperature wasn't moving up. So yeah, you gotta connect a ground cable all the way to the battery, or if you find, like, just pretty much connect the ground cable somewhere. But yeah, it was easier for me to connect the ground cable all the way to the battery. You know, it's only like, I don't know, 6 inches, whatever. So yeah, so that's done. I should really get this out the way because I don't want to, you know, cause a spark. But let's check it out. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. All right, car is gonna be on the on position. Remember how I was reading 104? Now it's at 138. And if I turn it on, it's at 138. That's it. It should be going up on temperature when you're driving around and stuff like that. I found out why my gauge wasn't like reading correctly. I guess it was a lot of dirt on it, but it's reading fine now. But I'm just glad we have a temp gauge that's working. I can actually see like how hot the car gets, and pretty much this is really handy. I mean, $5 is a steal. I mean, it's an easy mod you guys can do. So yeah, give it a nice drive. Neutral. So it's at 140. I'm gonna end the video here. If you guys find it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below if you guys are gonna do like a setup like this. Just comment down if you guys are stuck somewhere. I'll answer your guys' question. Also, if you guys want to see me do daily updates, just follow me on Instagram, on Snapchat. The links you guys can find it are down below. It's Finally Churro. And I also made a Facebook page. It's Finally Churro official page, so check that out too. I'm always putting like, you know, funny stuff up there, or like you know, what I'm gonna do in the future and stuff like that for the car. But yeah, other than that, I have like a big old freaking oil stay, but 240 problems, so that's what you get, you know, for working on your 240s. I'll see you guys on the next Strip Build episode. Later. Bro, it's so sexy, bro. It's so sexy, bro.
Just wanna keep the peace and help people. Give some of this money that I'm making to the people. So if you hating on me, goddamn you evil. And just don't understand, cause I'm flyer than Knievel. Been through a lot of shit, but I keep it on the deep low. Never bustin' in them streets, but I keep it G though. I ain't in the fairy tales, I'm just me, ho.